Yo, what's going on, everybody? We're down here in Tampa freezing today. We got Carlotta on. She's in South Carolina. Mike G, how you doing today, man? Right. And Carlotta, how are you doing, my lady?
I'm doing fabulous.
All right. So
it's cold as I'm not even gonna say it, but it's cold in South Carolina.
It was cold as the brass. Beep, beep, beep. Monkey. I love it. I love it. Hey, so how are you doing? And we were talking about business, earlier. And the thing is, people go from, we're brought up to traditionally think that when we're raised, our parents, the old baby boomers brought us up saying you need to have a career. You need to go to school. You need to get education. You need to have a career. And then what we find out now, I think COVID may have had some impact on it, but now, that people look at business, they have a different perspective. So before we get into all that, I want to know a little bit about your background before we get into finding out why you became a businesswoman.
All right, perfect. Well, first of all, thank you so much for having me on the show. It's an honor. I'm excited to do this and excited to share a little about my journey, about my past, because I think a lot of people limit themselves. They don't see what's possible for them. They get stuck in the merry-go-round, in the race, and they forget, we used to dream as kids. We had big dreams and we stopped dreaming because we get into our careers, have a family, and then all of a sudden it's a rat race. So thank goodness for some reason God gave me the ability to stop and look and see what was possible. And it all just happened by chance. So my background, well, let's see. How far back do you want me to go back?
Well, I mean, where are you originally? Are you from New Jersey? Are you originally from Arizona? Where are you originally from?
So I'll start. First of all, I am first generation in this country. My dad's from Cuba. My mom's from Ecuador. And they met in New Jersey, and that's where I was born. But I was actually raised in Miami. They moved there when I was 6 months old. So I feel like I am from Miami.
Okay, I like that. So you're a Hurricanes fan, huh?
Well, no, not any. I was a Dolphin fan. Now I'm a Gamecock because I went to University of South Carolina.
All right.
And I'm actually a Steelers fan.
What? Steelers? Okay, whoa. Wait, all right. How did you get to become a Steelers fan?
Well, my husband converted me. So I was a Dolphins fan. He's Steelers. And, we've been married now for 17 years. And, somewhere along the way, I finally said, okay, I started getting into that whole, the culture, Steeler Nation. And I liked it. I'm all about culture.
So start drinking the Kool-Aid.
I started drinking the Kool-Aid, and here I am.
All right. So, me and you talked a while back, a couple times on the phone about different things. And, entrepreneurship, let's just talk about that. Is you said a key thing, and Albert Einstein said this about, the people, as adults, we struggle with being creative and we lose who we are as children because we forget how to be children. So your perspective is that when you were working your 9 to 5, and you can get into that, but why do you think so many adults become naysayers or negative towards a person like yourself who starts to say, you know what, I'm going to dream again?
They just don't see what's possible, and they're just life keeps us really busy. I think people just get into a pattern, into a routine, into the daily routine, and they forget to stop and slow down to look and see what's possible. They forget what they, when I was in school and college, my dream was, hey, I went to college, I'm gonna become a nurse, and then I went off to be a nurse practitioner, and I even start thinking, I'm gonna be the top in my field. I'm going to do this. I'm going to have a private practice. And then I got busy. Kids came. Then you start wanting to raise your kids, but you're busy working. So a little bit about what happened with me is I started working extra side hustles. And I never even knew that I was an entrepreneur. I didn't think that was in my wheelhouse and never thought about it. I was just going to work, and make money to pay everything off so then I could come home. So I was I had extra jobs. I was doing hospice. I was doing.
So you had an end state. I mean to cut you off. So you had an end state. So what you're saying is, because I have side hustles, And so what you're saying is that you looked at your situation from a financial standpoint, and you looked at your situation from where you're at, and you go, you know what? I need to pay everything off, and I need to have some freedom.
Exactly. That was the beginning of it. And actually, my first husband and I told him, "Hey, why don't we open a restaurant and then you can have your own job. You can manage that and maybe we can, who knows, but don't open restaurants." Not the way, not, you might
It's a
get
lot
lucky,
of
but
work.
no, I think I'd rather put a fork in my eye than ever do that again. That was just not fun. So, I mean, that's a lot of work, and you're married to a business, but that is a traditional business. That's what a lot of entrepreneurs start off. I'm going to open my own business, and they have, a brick and mortar business, and they go there and show up. But it's hard to make that really grow big. So there's only a certain amount of hours that you have to give into that business, and you're married to it.
Right.
So the best thing to do is to figure out ways, either, franchise it or do something where you have other people, where you have other ways of money coming in where you're not killing yourself.
Right. So you
So,
want somebody to come in and buy your business at the end of the day, because that's where you really make your money.
yeah,
So, yeah. So going through that journey, and you know what you went through, and then you've been a nurse practitioner. Okay. So you did the 9 to 5, or well, nurses really are not 9 to 5. They work hell hours.
no,
Let's just be
it's not
honest.
9 to 5. I went from being a nurse and I decided I wanted to be a nurse practitioner. Better hours, more pay, and then I saw, that could give me more financial freedom. But then, you're working, there's a cap on your income. There's only so much you're going to make as a nurse practitioner. And I made great money. Don't get me wrong. I went over, I think my top year I was maybe making 130,000,
All
but
right.
that's working your nurse practitioner job, doing about 4 side hustles, because all physicians, all nurse practitioners, all PA, we moonlight. We get paid good
Yes.
money to do talks for Merck on diabetes. I was doing insulin pumps. I was working at a medical spa 1 day a week. I was doing hospice. But those talks, you're getting paid a really good money to go talk on a subject that you're well versed in, that you know like the back of your hand. But it takes you away from home. I'm having to travel places to do this.
How many kids do you have, if you don't mind me
I
asking?
have 3.
All
They're
right. So
grown
you,
now, but they
yeah,
were
yeah.
younger back then.
Right, right. And during the time, what we call it the grind, right?
Yeah, the grind, and what's sad is that you're grinding and you're missing out on the reason you're grinding. So I had my last baby. He was born in 2005. So I was 39 years old, and by then I'm like, oh my gosh, my daughters are 13. No, back then they were 8 and 10, and I
Right.
had already missed out on a lot. I'm like, oh my goodness, I'm gonna miss out on this just like I'm missing out on them. And something started to switch, and that's when I really started doing more side hustles, more, I'm gonna go back home, and like maybe I could work as a nurse practitioner part-time. Maybe I can open up a practice. That's where that thought started coming in.
Oh yeah. So Mike, what do you got? Because Mike always trying to get him a side hustle on.
So that's a good question because it's a side. So when this, because I'm looking at your website, what you're going to show in a minute. When did that start? When did it all click and went and fell in place?
So the interesting thing is I was kind of tired. I was in my 40s. I was 46 when isogenics was introduced to me. And I was like, absolutely not. No, I'm not going to do that. And the reason was I thought it was some kind of, it's one of those things. Plus,
Airway, you just said you're.
I mean, that's the honest truth. I said it's one of those pyramid schemes. And first of all, I've already been eating organic and juicing since my 20s. I've been very health conscious pretty much my whole life. And so my best friend comes, she became my best friend through this business, but we were friends, and she goes, "Hey, this is right up your alley. It's all about cleanses and I'm like, I remember we were driving home from Charleston. I looked at my husband. I'm like, oh my God, it's she's Lulu. So a year went by and I kept watching her and I saw, wow, this is interesting. And other people were doing it. And the interesting thing that the year went by, and the reason I went back and said yes to her was I was tired. something had shifted. Probably I was 47, probably perimenopause, but there was something different. The energy bunny that I was gone. I was tired all the time. And I just wanted to be left alone.
Were you happy?
I was happy, but I wasn't present as a wife and mom. I'd get home and I just wanted to be left alone. Like I just need some time to chill. You got to realize I'm sitting here hustling all the time. I
And you had to
I had color
decompress,
guard.
right?
I had baseball games, and when you have three kids, you don't come home and chill out. So was I unhappy? That's really a good question. I didn't feel like I was, but looking back, probably I was just kind of tired of the way life was. It wasn't the life that I had imagined I would be at
Yeah,
by at that age.
yeah, yeah. And and I apologize for cutting you off right there, but you bring up a key point, and I'm glad you're on today, is because I think a lot of people should try to really listen to what you're saying, because there's a higher volume of people in America that actually don't realize that, I'm not going to use the word unhappy. They are not fulfilled because they've stopped being a child. They have stopped missed benchmarks. Mike likes being creative. He likes to do all these things that he would like to do. The problem is that you always run into is, how do you capitalize on your actually really good skill? And you did that, and Mike can throw your website up. And so I'll tell you, so I have tried isogenic. So my great thing I do like was the oatmeal bars. Yeah, we raisins. I did like those things. So I ain't gonna lie about a lot of them. But it's one of the things is that what I look at when I looked at your site and what you did is you became a business woman. No longer were you a 9 to 5 or working for a corporation. You became the owner of your own soul. So how did that feel? And when you started to make that transition, when did you realize that you were having to make that big transition in life? Because you're talking about, you're over 40. So this is life changing for some people.
Well, first of all, you're never too old to make the change, because a lot of people say, "Oh, well, I'm already, I'm a physician, or I'm this, or I'm that. I've been doing this career for 30 years." You're never too old to make a change. In fact, one of our millionaires in isogenics, he was 76 years old when he made the decision. He was a butcher. So that just tells you anyone can do this. Well, and it doesn't have to be necessarily isogenics. I think I think it's a great company that I'm in. I'm blessed. But anything that you're dreaming about doing, it's never too late. So the transition happened. I said yes to isogenics. I said no to the business. First things out of my mouth was, I'm going to do this, but I'm not selling anything. Absolutely not. What's funny is we're always selling something.
Well, you're selling it every day. We all do.
We're always selling something. And the first thing I did before I even started, I had talked to one of my friends. What do you think? And she was like, "Well, if you do it, I'll do it. Heck, you're my doctor. You're who I see. Of course I'll do. I want to try it too." So I immediately, my best friend immediately got me paid. I wound up making, $150. And you probably go, "Well, that's big deal." But I never did anything else except I started really I felt amazing. On day 4, I had my energy back. I felt like I swallowed a rainbow is the best way I can say it, but I felt amazing. And I'm like, wow, this is great. So I stayed on the products. I had no idea that I was making money because I wasn't paying attention to this. 3 months later, I see an email come through that I had so much that I had made, I don't know, like 50 something dollars. I'm like, what is
Right.
this? I said I wasn't selling anything. I got a little bit upset because I thought it was one of those things, there they go. They're doing something illegal with my account. What I found out is that I had made over $500 in addition to the 150 I had made. And all this money was sitting in this account. I didn't even know how. But let me tell you what, that woke me up. I just made 500 and something dollars eating food that makes me feel better. And I'm sitting here working all these side hustles. I called her up, tell me how this works and how do I make more?
Right. And that's the thing is you hit a key point is you got to make a transition and look for your dreams. And I love how you say it. And people can knock on whatever they want to about, because I mean, when we started to say we're going to open this podcast, and the list is long of why. And then when you look at it now, and I looked at your site, and what I saw is vibrant. I saw the energy. I look at some of the things you post on social media. I look at what you follow on LinkedIn because I follow you on LinkedIn. I look at some of the things that you write, and it's one of those things is that here's the thing I would suggest to you. I think you're bigger than you think you are, because I think that if you would just had a mini book, or did the just transition of what it takes to be an entrepreneur, man, you have a story that you have yet to write and put in paper, girl.
Well, that's kind of, I've been processing that. So definitely looking at that. But the biggest thing though with the journey is the transition, because I built this not knowing what I was doing. So I also want to share with people, you don't have to know it all. Just follow the duplicatable systems that are in place. We develop systems, and I just kept going and I never quit. And I learned, I mean, I was earning money little by little as I learned the profession of network marketing. That's what I am. I am a professional network marketer in the health and wellness industry. And when it came time that I was making more part-time with my side hustle than I was full-time, that's where really that was really the hard part, making that jump and going, okay, I'm going on my own. No more 401ks, no more insurance. This is going to be me. I'm going to be a businesswoman now. And I remember I had hired a coach, and he told me, I was scared. He goes, what are you waiting for? Why don't you put your big girl pants on and be the businesswoman you're wanting to be? And
Wow.
I that was the best advice. And I made the jump. I said, what's the worst that can happen? I fall flat on my face and I have to go back to work.
Yeah, and that's what I tell Mikey G over here all the time. I said, "What's the worst could happen to us? We actually had to keep a day job." I said, we're gonna grind at this and get after it." Well, Mike's got that big smile on because you're hitting every gate of what he thinks.
Well, and the great thing, when you look at the company I'm with, it's not a traditional MLM. And that really is what's behind my success too, is that I found all this money, but not only that, there was people under me that I hadn't enrolled. So you get paid endless depth with Isogenics on your entire organization, whether you enroll them or not. The people above me enrolling people were falling under me, and I was benefiting from that. So it made it simple for me to realize, oh my gosh, look at this. And then I just started sharing it because by then I believed in the products.
Oh
So
yeah.
I
So
started sharing and learning and earning, and also was my belief. You have to have 100% belief in yourself. I wasn't even at the top. I mean, I wasn't even an executive. And I mean, somebody came up to me and said, "How long did it take you to be executive in the company?" I'm like, I'm not an executive. I'm just a consultant. I just started. And they go, "What?" I was like, "No, but I know I'm going to do that." Like when I said I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. And when I make a decision, I keep going. I'm not going to quit. Just like when I was studying to be a nurse practitioner, I wound up getting pregnant with my second daughter in the middle of semester. And they go, "Oh," I was like, "Oh, can I take a break?" And I was like, "No, you'll have to go for another year then." I was like, "Nope, I'll keep going."
So you went while you were in full term. Well, yeah, you were playing in the sandbox and
I
so
wound
pay
up
the
I
price.
wound up having my doctor induce the labor between semesters so I can go to the summer semester. And I would go with the baby. My mom would take the baby, she'd bring Anna with her. She'd sit outside while I was in class. I'd go out and nurse. I mean, it was just crazy. I really don't know how I did it, but I did it. But that's the tenacity. And that's what you have to have in anything. If you want to accomplish anything in life, whatever goals you have, you just got to make the decision. It starts with a decision. It's not, oh, I think I'm going to try it. If you have try, you're already out of the game. You are out of the game when you say
That's
you're
right.
going to try it. Just,
Mike's giving you a high five on that one. Go ahead,
well,
Mike.
I have a lot of people come to me wanting to do this, and they're all in. They seem like they're all in, but then they start, oh, I'm going to try, or life is hard. Life throws you some really nasty fastballs, that your
Yeah,
curveballs, and you're
you're
like,
right.
what do
You're
I
right.
do? No, you just keep going. You don't let that derail you.
Correct.
Keep going.
And
And
you got
that's
everybody take notes. You see that? Take notes. Try it. You got to get to the hill, and then but people give up by the time they hit the hill. I think I
yeah.
can't. Forget it. It's too
They
hard.
don't realize that they're just almost right there over it, and the rest is going to be, they're going to make it. And I still have wall kicking moments. We all do as entrepreneurs, but I'm grateful because I say, gosh, look where I am, look what I have now, and where I am now, and the family, the life and the time I get to spend with my family, the traveling. I mean, it's been a big blessing. And my biggest passion is helping others see that and find that. I love helping others achieve their best ever health, but also helping them step into their power, which, embrace the power. Well, step into the power, embrace their power.
I like
They
that.
don't know. They don't know that they have it in them. I didn't know until I started, network marketing has actually been a self-development program for me. I have become a woman I never imagined I would be. And whether you build a business or not, this is really an amazing profession, an amazing journey that you can take to develop yourself and become the person you never imagined you could be.
You've reshaped yourself, and you kind of remolded yourself in who you are and how you see the world. And so how are you paying that? I mean, because the educational piece of this, the human network educational piece of this, is what's not caught on paper.
Mhm.
So when people meet you, they see where your status at, where you're at, you see your success, but they don't. A lot of people, I don't think, ever really, and this is a great moment for you right now, that people can hear, is that they have to be able to grasp that you had a journey that didn't start out great. And me and Mike talk about this all the time. People always look at folks on the social media side when they've made it,
Mhm.
but they didn't see them days where they're like counting. I'm the guy that'll pick up a penny on the street because I rub two nickels together to try to get a quarter. You know what I'm saying?
Well, they don't see the story behind the glory. They don't see, I would be up when I made the decision. I was working full time, and I would work this in the evenings. I had all those side hustles, but as I started making more income, I was like, okay, I can let go of this. So until I was just working as a nurse practitioner and working this, that does not mean this was not a get rich quick scheme. Oh, I got Isogenics, and wow, I earned over $1 million doing Isogen. No, I was up till 2 in the morning, 3 in the morning sometimes, getting up at 5:30 and going to work at 7. I did the first 2 years. I was grinding.
Wow.
I was I was putting in the work. I've had people quit on me. I've had people leave my team. I've had, it's just part of the journey, but you can't let that derail you. You can't say, "Oh, that's it. I'm going to quit." No, you got to go. You got to keep you have to be a servant leader. That's really what you are in this business. You're looking for people that you can help, that you can find solutions for them. Look at what they're asking for. Don't just, I'm not in the business of getting people, because a lot of people come in and they go, how do I get? I say, you're not getting people. We're not here. We're not in the business of getting people. We're in the business of attracting people and finding solutions for them. And when you find solutions for them, there you go. I mean,
Wow.
my, my issue when I started was energy. I had no energy. I was tired. And my best friend introduced me to this and gave me the solution to have more energy and feel better.
Oh wow! So as you're going down the road here, and you're thinking about this, I'll be waiting on your book, and I'll be waiting on your TikToks, because you hit about
TikTok. I'm trying. I'm trying.
you hit about 5 things verbally that you said that are actually TikTok moments, or they are IG moments that should be captured, and like some kind of verbiage that you should put out, because you hit some key points of how a person needs to be resilient, how a person needs to redefine themselves and understand themselves. And I mean, and that's a strong message, because I mean, today you got a lot of people dealing with anxiety. You got a lot of people dealing with, look, you're a nurse practitioner. You've been there, and you've seen after COVID, we got more people with more problems that they didn't have problems prior to COVID. And
Well,
go ahead.
you know, and don't make your past an excuse. That's the thing. A lot of people are making COVID a reason, to not do anything. Oh well, I had COVID. And granted, there's a lot of people that have been affected tragically by this, but there's a lot of people that took this period to grow. I mean, they became resilient. They saw opportunities with COVID to make something happen. New businesses have come up. There's a lot of people have taken Isogenics and built an incredible business and replaced their income, while they were on furlough.
Right.
So anyone can do it. You just can't say, oh my gosh, everything's shut down. What am I going to do? When COVID first started, I got a little bit worried. I'm not going to lie. I was like, and I don't like to say worry, because when you worry does nothing. Worry just creates anxiety. But I was concerned. I was like, okay, you know what? I'm just keep going. And people need money. I started focusing on giving people a solution to find money. Hey, how would you like to start making an extra $1,000 a month, $500 a month?
Oh yeah.
I'm not going to go and say, hey, you want to make 15 grand a month? No, they're not. That takes.
That's another industry.
Well, no, it's this industry. You can do it.
Yeah. No, I was just being sarcastic.
You can do it in 6 months. I've seen people do it in 6 months, but what kind of network do they have? I don't like to sell. I don't like to false advertise. How much grind do you have? Are you going to be up till 2 or 3 in the morning to make it happen? Because when I made it happen, that's what I did. I didn't have another option. I'm working full time during the day. I have a family at night. I was connecting with people in California or talking to people in Hawaii. Well, that's a different time zone.
Oh yeah, but I'll tell you one thing about COVID and what you're doing that kind of helped is because everybody got on a health kick. And I'll say this, it was really ironic that the amount of people that got on a health kick because they were isolated.
Mm-hmm.
And because they were isolated, they had to find clean habits and clean products to use to want to work their health. So, like I tell people a lot of times, because I was working during COVID also, and it's as bad and tragic as it was interesting to see. And the sad thing about it was the people that actually needed to get more of that help in the inner cities and the other neighborhoods, they couldn't afford it. But just to see our society overall, from the middle class pretty much, and to move into a more fitness area and start eating and making a change in their lives, because now it's made me more and more aware, because I'm 57, so I definitely understand now how more important it is for me to be balanced in my health, because you just never know.
Well, and I'm right there. I'm 56. I'll be 57 next month. But
looking good, girl. No.
Well, Isogenics. And our collagen's amazing. People deserve to look at the collagen. But going back to COVID, what not a better time to promote Isogenics, to promote health and wellness? Where else can you get your food delivered right at home? You're getting all this amazing goodness, this box of goodness with food. Our shakes, they're incredible. Each shake is equivalent to about 20 Subway sandwiches in nutrition without all the junk.
Without that, right?
Without all the calories. So, people getting their food delivered home, then people finding, hey, this is a business, or they started sharing it with their friends. I started then after COVID, how would you like to lose a quarantine 15? You had to be kind of smart.
A quarantine 15?
Yeah.
Oh my God, I like that. How did you do? Whoever came up with that, or you did? That's legit. That's legit.
We just came up the quarantine fluff, whatever you want to call it. But
I'm gonna remember that one. That's got to be coined. All right, so here's the deal. If somebody wants to get in touch with you, or talk to you and just ask you about being a businesswoman or getting on Isogenics, how do we get in touch with you? You're on Facebook. Where are you at, girl?
I'm on Facebook. I'm on LinkedIn. That's my Twitter. Now, I'm not a big Twitter person, but I'm on LinkedIn, Facebook, and Instagram. Or you can always reach me at, you could text me at 803-381-0977. That is my business line. So text me there. I'm also on WhatsApp. But I have an amazing community, an amazing group on Facebook with great information, recipes, tips. It's just inspiration. It's just great for anybody that's that's health conscious and wanting more information on products. On business, just message me. I also have a phenomenal group on LinkedIn called the Art of Wellbeing. So message me, I'll add you, or I can send you some information. I'm always happy to jump on the phone and set up a 15-minute phone call. So,
all right, and I love it. Mike, you got anything before we get out of here, brother?
Pleasure meeting you. You hit the nail on the head right off the top. I'm loving it.
Thank you.
And it's good to see somebody take their dream and running with it. That's
Thank you so much for
it
having
inspires
me.
me as well to, hopefully I won't be doing a 9 to 5. I'm 45. I'm done. I'm tired. Yeah, and I know the tired that you're talking about. So but it's a pleasure meeting you.
Great to meet you.
All right, Carlotta, I appreciate you coming on today. As always, me and my coach G want to always say you got to keep it rolling.
I got money in my pocket and I'm about to spend it.